Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne, America's #1 take action success coach and strategist, empowering, educating, inspiring, and igniting people to take action with jet propulsion. We assist people to find and embrace their life purpose, live their highest vision, become the best next version of themselves, forging a strong foundation to soar to success. For more information about how to work with me and my team, please visit us at ldcstrategies.com. We're so happy to have you. Welcome to the show. Our goal at Healthy Lifestyle is to empower minds, educate hearts, inspire action, and ignite success so you can choose to have a fulfilled, healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life, to live the life you have always wanted and dreamed. I hope you're having a great day. Today on Healthy Lifestyle, as usual, we're going to give you some verbal caffeine to light you up with possibilities. And with us on the show today, we have Tammy Waldron. She is a superstar and is the heart and soul behind Towanda Wellbeing, a place where vulnerability meets transformation. Adopted and on a lifelong journey of personal healing and discovery, Tammy knows firsthand the power of identifying and changing limiting beliefs and the courage it takes to step into your true self. Amen, sister. Her mission is to create spaces where people do the deep work, the real work that leads to lasting change. Through ThetaHealing, healing circles, and transformative workshops, Tammy offers connection, empathy, and a safe place and space to guide her clients on the path to self-love, authenticity, and freedom from emotional burdens. She's here to ask the questions that make you pause, to challenge the stories you tell yourself. Sound familiar, listeners? And to help you create a life that aligns with who you truly are. And Tammy shares her journey insights and the magic that happens when you commit to your own healing. And so I want to welcome to the show, Tammy. Thank you for being here. So happy to have you.
Thank you, Lori Anne. So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so happy, so happy. We have a lot of symmetry between what we do, and we serve different population. And some people ask me, they're really curious. They're like, Lori Anne, you're a coach. Why do you have a lot of coaches on? I'm like, because there's so many people to serve. Even if I wanted to serve everyone, I couldn't. And we do different modalities. So somebody would be served by me at one point, and then I would hand them to you, Tammy, to do your magic with them as well. But we have a lot of similar philosophies, and I love that. I love that about you. And I think that's what attracted us to each other. So your journey, I find it inspiring. You've been on this lifelong journey of personal healing, of discovery, right? We all are. We're always trying to make ourselves better. Some of us decide to sleep and don't take the journey right away, and some of us do it really for their entire life. And I think that's really what you've been doing. So what was that pivot? I call it that transformational, that turn of events, that moment when you realized you needed to step into a path of healing and that you really needed to do that?
A really good question. I think I've had multiple moments, and I think it's been a stepwise process as I've traveled throughout my whole life. As you shared, I'm adopted. And so I've always known that there was something wrong with me. And as I've grown older, it's those beliefs that we have, that things happen to us and we get these beliefs, right? I'm not loved. I'm not wanted. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. And I would say probably the biggest pivotal moment for me was after my divorce. I, for the first time, was alone. I allowed myself to be alone. And that was a terrifying space for me.
Yes, me too.
Yes. And it was like, okay, those beliefs are not true.
But what are beliefs, Tammy, right? They're
Those,
thoughts we
yes.
think over and over again.
Yes.
Somewhere along the line, you were getting that thought and just kept thinking it over and over again, and it became part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. In my
Those are what we refer
subconscious.
to as limiting beliefs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Limiting beliefs that are in my program, in my subconscious, that I wasn't aware of in my younger years, but they absolutely drove my decisions, drove who I thought I was, drove to make me feel like there was something wrong with me when there is nothing. I'm perfect. I'm made in perfection. In perfection. I am perfect. And all of those things are opportunities for us to learn and grow in ourselves. And my one big learning was for me to be still and quiet and alone and be comforting to myself, to love myself, to forgive myself, and to start looking inward. Because my whole life before that, I was looking outward to find things that would help me and put them inside to fill this primal wound that I had from being adopted. None of it worked. It was all superficial. And
Yeah.
so when I started to get quiet and love myself, that was the real pivotal beginning of my journey towards healing myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't even realize that that was your story. I'm not adopted, but similar story as far as, one of my biggest, and we have many pivots. And just to reiterate, when we pivot, it's an opportunity where we're having perhaps something, one of our greatest challenges gives us equal greatest opportunity. And I always
Oh,
look
yeah.
at those pivots as opportunity, my whole life up and change direction. And yeah, you have to sit in the silence, and that's very scary to people because now you can't escape, you can't run away from the truth. And the truth hurts, but it's also a relief. There's like, once that all goes out and once you know who you are, no one can touch the sanctity of who you are. No words, no actions can disturb you. You're just like, okay, that's their thought. They can't really disrupt our flow, if you will. So I'm curious about adoption. Again, I haven't been adopted, but I have very dear friends who are. And adoption and identity, like, how has your experience of being adopted shaped your understanding of your identity? And really, how has that influenced your work with the clients you're searching for, who's searching for true selves as well? Because that's what we're doing. We're all doing that, right? Searching for the truth, which is all here, by the way, right in our chest. It's all here. It's all within us.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Resonate so deeply with everything that you said. For me, it's a universal lesson of how we come in and the parents and families that we belong to on the earth. And so, like, looking at it from a universal perspective of a learning opportunity, I was put into a family where I was adopted at 5 days old. And so it was this beautiful opportunity to know that I belong to myself, that it's important for me to love myself, regardless of the situation that I'm in such a stark way. I could not avoid it or run away from it. It was just like, this is what you're meant to learn in this life, Tammy, is no matter where you are you and you are perfect and you are meant to be here and you are worthy and valuable and enough and loved. And so everywhere I would look, I was always reminded of that. And by the way, my adoptive family is so loving and wonderful. So I had this juxtaposition of, I'm in a loving family and they love me and I don't feel loved. There's something missing. What's missing? And it was this searching and searching outside of me that I could never find it until I started to look inside. And so the
Yeah.
universe puts together these life learning labs to say, nothing outside is going to give this to you. It's all inside.
Well, so look at that. I mean, this is a great study. You're surrounded by love.
Yes.
Absolutely, they absolutely love it, and they have to. It's not a have to. They actually get to, but it's they chose you. They said yes to you, so you were absolutely loved. So no excuse there. I call them
None.
justifiable excuses. It was,
None.
we have to love ourselves to be able to accept and recognize love from other people, and that's where we don't. And that, because you were coming from a mindset of, I'm broken, I'm flawed, I'm tossed to the side, because you came from that mindset, understandably so, right? That makes sense, that's where it'd be, until you took notice of that. And everything starts with acknowledgement, right? We have to be aware of something before we can make a choice to either change it or leave it the same. And either choice is perfectly fine at whatever moment you make that decision. All of our decisions are perfect at the moment you're making decision with the information that you have. It may not give you the results you're looking to have. It may not be a good result, but they're perfect at the moment. So I always want to tap back into that. But yeah, to be able to look inside and say, yeah, I have to love myself. It's amazing. But it goes back to limiting beliefs. Now, I have a lot of clients who come to me with limiting beliefs. Actually, all of them start with limiting beliefs, right? That's part of my Super Bowl bounce. which is a Super Bowl quiz. And I know based on the height of their bounce, based on their bounce pattern, where I need to start working from them. Is it mindset? Most of the time it is mindset. Some people are aware, so they're more ahead than others. But when they come in with the limiting beliefs, what are the ones that normally come across with your clients?
Yes. Well, I believe that I attract the clients that I can help and
Yeah.
serve.
Yeah.
And other people that I've actually talked to that are also in this field say similar things.
Yes.
But it is I'm worthy. That they don't believe these, right? So I'm not worthy, I am not valuable, I'm not enough, I'm not loved or lovable. Those have been universal. And
Yeah.
worthy is really big. Being loved is really big too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's so funny that you say that because we do attract a certain person. But think about it. We attract our former selves because we serve our former selves. That is when people talk avatar, I'm like, let me fast track this for you. Your avatar is one version of your former self, whatever that version is. And it's usually one that is of the highest pivot, the largest pivot you've had, the most contrast between where you were before and where you are now. So that's your avatar. So I just, I remember doing avatar work. I don't know if you've done the avatar work like this, but they're like, does she carry a briefcase? Does she? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're just the former version of myself. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I wear heels. Sometimes I wear skirts. Why do I have to pick one outfit? So then I start fighting against the avatar, and that's why I say it that way. It's like, okay, stop fighting with your avatar. Just pick something, you know because it could be any version of that, but it is truly a former version of ourselves. And the reason why is we've walked the walk, we've talked the talk, we've walked in the shoes, we know how it feels. We can absolutely relate to how they're feeling unworthy, feeling not loved. Like you, like me, I had a loving family, I had a beautiful childhood. It was one, but I still had that I matter. Do I really matter? I had that I matter. I felt like I needed to stand on a tabletop and say, I matter. I'm worthy. And everything, all the choices I made before that pivot was all about that. Once I was aware of it, I was able to go, oh, I don't have to scream from the top of the mountains again. I just know it within myself. And when I had that confidence, it was everything became Zen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Did you
Mm-hmm.
find that when you
Oh,
jumped
yeah.
that hurdle with your limiting beliefs?
Oh, yes. And what you talked about earlier is that it is a little scary to get quiet because all of these trapped emotions and limiting beliefs, they want to be seen, heard, and understood. That's also a universal thing.
Yes.
People want us to be seen, heard, and understood, but so do all of our emotions.
Yes.
Our parts of us want that. And so they will get really, really loud and big when you don't listen to them. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, I have these trapped in a closet and they are so loud. What's going to happen when I open the door? But once you open the door,
Terrifying. It's
yes,
terrifying.
once I open the door, they just are like, oh, she sees me. She
Yeah.
hears me. She understands me. And it transmuted so quickly in this understanding and this melting away of shame and this acceptance and forgiveness came very rapidly. And I got to that first peaceful state really quickly. And then
Yes.
there, it was like, oh, I need more of this. There's more work to be done. What else needs to be seen, heard, and understood? Let's go.
Yes, absolutely, 100%, 100%. Absolutely. That putting yourself in because you're vulnerable, because you don't know what's going to be behind the door. But once you open the door, it's out and it's your journey and it's your story and nobody gets to change it and nobody gets to tell it. I always say it's your story. You need to tell it. I don't tell it for you, but I tell my story. So I love that you open the door and it's the being seen and heard. We all want to be seen and heard. That's where the matter comes from. That's where the worthy comes from. That's where the feeling loved comes from. And it starts right within ourselves. So yeah, what a beautiful feeling that is when you do that. But there's a power in vulnerability that I kind of like now. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's where I'm the happiest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's often seen as a weakness and it's not. It's anything but. It's actually strength to
Yeah.
show your vulnerabilities. And I was told, no, you don't show things like that. And by the way, emotions, just to touch back on something you had said, there's a purpose to our emotions, and it's not what people think. It
Mm.
means we're out of alignment with who we're supposed to be. It's
Mhm.
screaming at us, you don't feel good. You're crying because you feel unhappy because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And
Mhm.
so when you're in that joyous, have you ever done something that you were just absolutely elated, or you jump this fear base that you had established for yourself, and you're on the other side going, wow, that's feeling a superpower and goosebumps, and just you just don't, there's not enough breath in the world, and your smile will cancel. It's like my cheeks hurt because I'm so happy. Yeah, you have one of those experiences. Want to share a story of that?
Oh, absolutely. Gosh, a story. I actually really love helping other people and getting those light bulb moments of helping them open that door,
Yeah.
creating that safe space for them, letting them know that they have the opportunity to heal themselves if they just lean in and look into that. So, I mean, that brings me so much joy and alignment to my purpose. Like, this is what I'm here to do. And there's a difference between learning, because I
Me too.
love to learn, but it has to be put into action. Learning is just the first step. And so that's why we are important in the world, because we bring it into action and actionable in action. It creates the results. The
Yes.
transformation happens through action. And so
That's
when
why I'm a transformational take action coach, because you got to
yes,
take action. It's so funny. I have had clients in the past who they would go to all these different seminars and they would read all these books. And I was like, great. When you read that book, what did you do? What did you do that was different? What did you change? And they're like, oh no, but I have a book full of notes. I was like, awesome. So now we're going to not do that anymore. Now we're going to, if you decide to go to a seminar, we're going to take some action items out of there and apply them to your life and or work. We need to take those actions, and we can learn all we want. And that's one of the things I was learning from the greats like the Jack Canfields, the Tony Robbins, the Joe Dispenzas of the world, the Mary Morrisseys, the just went out of my head, bunch of different people I learned from, to take those pieces, components to make it my version. So I'm bringing whatever works for that client to them. And I noticed that you do the same thing. But how do you encourage your clients to embrace vulnerability during their healing journey? Because that is really a craft in and of itself.
I think it's just the results. The technique that I utilize gets to the key root of the issues, and they experience results right away.
Yeah.
And then it does shift for them too. It shifts their life. It shifts their perspective so they can have those moments. Another moment that I just popped into my head from the question you just asked, like, what's an example of just being an absolute joy? It's being in nature, seeing the simplest of things. When you are at peace, well, for me, when I am at peace and I have released these limiting beliefs from myself, then I'm open to receive the joys of seeing a bald eagle as I'm flying, or the joys of seeing a dragonfly, or the moon, or oh my gosh, in Ohio, in Cincinnati, I got to see the auroras.
Oh, wow.
I sat in front of my house and was in absolute awe
Stunning.
for like over an hour, just in awe. And that's what this gift gives us, is just enjoying the simplest of moments of life.
Yeah, it does come down to simplicity.
Mhm.
And that's why you find yourself when you're starting to be enlightened, and when you're starting to work on yourself and you're feeling more comfortable within your own skin, you don't need to surround yourself with stuff. You surround yourself with really good humans, and you surround yourself in nature, and you'll find there's that point of joy. And it's ever so simple. It's the little things in life that are way more joyous. Not that we don't want to disperse and not get the large things in life as well, but it's those little things that just, you just can't stop smiling. Now, you speak about theta healing. So explain to the listeners and the viewers about theta healing and the role of theta healing.
Yes. So theta healing at its foundation is a guided meditation. It gets right to the core of changing limiting beliefs in the subconscious in an effective and efficient way. And also identifying and releasing those trapped feelings that we carry from our own experiences and from our ancestors, because we inherit these things as well. And as you begin to peel away those layers of emotions and limiting beliefs, then you get to anchor into your own self. You get to identify and connect with your intuition and grow in that skill and more clearly have that differentiation between who I truly am. I call it our true self, and everyone else, everything else.
Yes.
All the rest
I want to talk, I want to dive deeper in our second segment. We have to take a short break, but I want to dive deeper into the second segment about theta healing. Oddly, this morning, not so oddly, divinely guided, I was looking at theta healing, and I want to dive deeper into what that is and how people can activate their theta. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I am Coach Lori Anne, America's #1 take action success coach and strategist. If you would like to be a guest or lift up your business, product, not for profit, or if you have a question or comment, we love to hear from you. Email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. That's healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. We love to talk with you. Welcome back. Today we are speaking with Tammy Waldron. Her website is TowandaWellbeing.com. You need to reach out to her. She is amazing. We have a lot of simpaticos going on here. We're just like, yes, high five. Yes, I say that too. So it's a lot of fun. But we were talking about before the break, theta healing. So you started to dive in a little bit, and let's talk more about theta healing, the importance of it, why it doesn't come naturally, and what we can do to work on it. Because at the end, I'm going to ask you to give our listeners and viewers something to take action as soon as this airs, as soon as this is over.
Yes. So theta healing is a modality that was created by Diana Steibel. She, long story short, was able to heal herself from cancer by going into this deep meditation. And she's harnessed that pathway for us. So we all have access to tap into universal life force energy and heal ourselves. We just don't know how to do it. We forgot how to do it. So this is one path to do that, and it gets you right into a theta brain state. So there's multiple things out there that can get you into that theta brain state, and in that you're the closest between conscious and unconscious. So it's a beautiful place to change your limiting beliefs. And in theta healing, we can also then identify those trapped emotions and stories from ourselves and from our ancestors. And why it has been so crucial for my own healing is it just is so efficient, effective, and deep. The results are quick. The transformation is hard for me to describe. The peace that it has given me, the change in my life, the change in my relationships is incredible. I worked with a woman recently who came to me because she was contemplating separating from her partner. And we worked only on her, and her partner's behavior changed. And she's still with him now. And so how we mirror our own, I would say, dis-ease inside of our internal selves, and how that creates and manifests and mirrors back to us in our world, we don't fully understand. But I know when we change ourselves from the inside out, we change our world. And that's really the way to approach manifesting the life of your dreams, is to go from the inside out. And theta healing gets right to the core.
Yeah, I love that you say that, because I use the equation E plus R equals O. It's our success equation. And the point of power is in the R, our response. Well, if we are having limiting beliefs and you're thinking badly of yourself, believe it or not, our nonverbal is stronger than our verbal. So that vibration goes out, and we react to the world differently than when we have calmness within ourselves. And when we're settled within ourselves, we have a different reaction. We may not overreact. People may not upset us, if you will, or try to change us, because that's not going to happen, because we know who we are. So I think I just love theta healing. I think it's a beautiful tool. I too utilize it in my practice as well. It really gets us down to the next question I have for you, which is about self-love and authenticity. It's so important. I mean, now I can see at 100 pieces when somebody is just not being real and has more walls up than I did when I used to have all the walls up to protect myself. But really, when you put walls in front of you, you're imprisoning yourself, not
Right.
anybody else. You totally imprison yourself. And not only did I have a wall, I had a moat and a wall. So I was really good at this. Why do you think self-love love is often, I would say, difficult to cultivate?
From my own perspective and my own journey, it is one of the lessons I'm meant to learn here. We are with ourselves 100% of the time. Why is this so difficult? On a lot of lessons that I've learned have pointed to that, right? Other people can disappoint, relationships can crumble, but my relationship with myself is the only one that I have control over. So it is for me, a life lesson of turning in and cultivating a deep, intimate relationship with myself, which has taken a journey. It's my life's journey. It's my life's work. And it's my life's work to differentiate between the limiting beliefs that pull me away from what is true and
Okay.
truth and anchor in to what is true of all of who I am. And with doing that, then I have the full capacity to be authentic in the world, shine my light into the world because there's only one of me here to do something unique and special. And if I'm able to shine that light in, then I can bring that into the world.
Without a doubt. And how do you not just understand it, but how do you help people make it part of their lives? How can our listeners make it part of their lives where they truly live it?
So that's what I'm creating with my business. That's the missing piece that I had a hard time finding in my learning journey and my practice journey. I've taken 14 theta healing classes, but in between those classes, how do I incorporate that into my life? And there are lots of parts of us that want to actually distract us and pull us away from that. And it is community. It is community and it is practice and it is dedication and accountability because learning is the snowflake on the tip of the iceberg and that it can transform you in knowing new information, but you have to do it and you have to work at it regularly and build those habits. And so in Towanda Wellbeing, we're creating a community where we come together to learn and practice, hold each other in a space of support and love and accountability so that we can actually heal because it's that action part that is, I think, missing. And I don't think we're meant to do this alone.
No, I don't think we're meant to do anything alone, quite frankly. You know,
No.
it takes the help of others for us to jet aside forward. That's why the jet propulsion is to get you there quicker. And we've been through it. We've done the work. So taking those next steps makes perfect sense. What are some examples or stories? You share some stories of people, what they tell themselves, right?
Oh,
What they
yeah.
tell themselves and what keeps them stuck. I know I was stuck for 7 years. It was choice. I chose to stay stuck because I didn't choose to make change. And so, and I look back and I was like, well, I chose to do that, and there was reasons for that. And that helps me bring those tools with me along to help other people who are stuck for short or long terms and just finding their way through it. So, what are some of the stories of people keeping stuck?
I think they feel overwhelmed that it could be too much for them to think about. Or, oh, Tammy, that worked for you, but I'm different. That's not going to work for me. There's a lot of self-sabotaging, distracting ideas.
Sure.
Numbing is actually really big that will just shut us completely down.
Numbing with food, alcohol, drugs. Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
just psychological
Yep.
numbing. Your brain has the ability to take you offline and distract you so that you just don't think about things. So people who have experienced a lot of trauma, they may not realize or know there are moments where it peaks, but moments where they just feel really disconnected, that they don't actually know who they are.
Yes.
I have
Yes.
a woman who really feels disconnected from her physical body. It's hard for her to feel her feelings, and it's hard for her to be present. And so I've been working with her for over a year now, and she went to a concert recently with her friend, and she started crying in the middle of the concert and said, "I'm not going to remember this moment tomorrow." And I saw her a week later and I said, she's like, I've never been able to remember events. And I said, close your eyes. So she said, I'm not going to remember this moment, right? So I asked her to get quiet, close her eyes, look inside, and take herself back to that concert. And for the first time, she was able to do that. She could remember. She could remember what it felt like, what it sounded like, being there with her friends. And that was so important and pivotal moment in her life. This work has this ripple effect where, yes, you have peace and triggers will disappear, hot buttons will disappear, they'll lighten, you'll be in more control. You'll be driving the bus, not your feelings or your beliefs driving the bus. But there's so
Yes.
much more we can't put our finger on what's transformed. But it's magical and our life just expands and we expand and opportunities come to us that wouldn't come otherwise because we wouldn't be, I think for me, I wouldn't be ready for them. So as I grow and expand, my life grows and expands.
Yes. Yes. Well, you're open to it. You're creating space to allow it to come in.
Mhm.
So, and you're ready to be ready,
Yes.
as Abraham would say, ready to be ready. What lessons have you learned from you recently from your own healing journey?
Well, one thing, it's really important to tap into a community of support. So the majority of my healing has been with ThetaHealing, which is spiritual energy healing. But it's important to be mind, body, and soul, right? You've got to surround yourself with the right coaches, with the right people,
Amen.
right? And also our bodies. If I could mentally meditate and say I'm going to grow muscles, man, I would be a bodybuilder. We have to pick up the weights and lift weights. We have to eat good food. And also just the things that come up in my physical body, I need to think about it and look inward and say, is this an emotional need? Is this a physical need? Because it could be either or. And it takes a village to create a healthy life.
Yes.
And that goes with who you curate and bring into your inner circle.
Yeah, it's really important who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Look around at who you're with, who you surround yourself with, and that will tell you how successful you're going to be. And success is defined however you define success. It's not how somebody else defines success, how the media defines success. There's a lot of different definitions for success. So, and it doesn't necessarily associate with dollars either. Doesn't
Oh,
mean you're not successful if you're not making bazillion dollars. Doesn't mean you're not being successful if you are making a bazillion dollars, but it's just what you're attracting to yourself. So I love that you say that, and I too have a community. Matter of fact, I have a QR code if you're watching, and there's some information that follows. And I'll be putting all of your information to follow this episode as well. But to join a community, be surrounded, because here's what happens. How many times does this happen to you, Tammy, right? You go to an event, you get all this yumminess, you write it in your book, you have all these good intentions, you are in it. And you're like, yes, I'm going to do it. And you go home and then you're surrounded by the people who are in your life, who love you and are well-intentioned, but aren't in the same place that you're in. They don't understand what you're talking about. And you allow that to sabotage what you're doing and get you off your course. Not only do we sabotage ourselves, but we also have people around us because their fears get in their way and they project them onto us. And suddenly it's just a lot easier to slide into the old habits. So that's the action taking that I like to really promote is, all right, let's replace a bad habit with a good one. That's when you're successful changing your habits, when you replace an old one with a better one. So even I have one of my episodes coming up is with someone about how to eat properly, how to even go shopping in a store, because most of the food that we are given in the United States is tons of preservatives, tons of chemicals. You need to think about what you're putting not only in your body, what you're putting in your brain, what you're putting in your sight, what you're listening to. It's so, so important. And the more you take all the harsh unnecessary things out of your life, the closer you're going to get to who you really are and be able to thrive, because all those other things keep us small and keep us down with purpose. So we need to really bust beyond that and have a community surround us to keep us in, to have those accountability partners to say, hey, I'm doing this. No, you're showing up. I actually have a workout person who our rule is we can't text or call each other before we're supposed to work out with each other, because it takes away the excuse. I can't just throw off a text and say, I'm not coming today. I feel like I'll let her down when I'm really letting myself down. Right. So we have that rule, and it's a fun accountability thing. Plus, when we're there, once we start yakking, it's no big deal. We're in our rhythm. So I totally understand that. And living in alignment, that's, going back to the emotions, that's when you're not in alignment. Living in alignment, you talk about helping clients really create lives that align with who they truly are. And what does this really mean for you to live in alignment? And how can somebody start that process, take that action today?
Yeah. Yeah. I think our intuition when we are just getting started is more clear from hindsight, and really pay attention to what that felt like. Go back to that moment. You're in the future now and say, oh my gosh, at this moment, I knew that. It's your intuition talking to you. It comes in spurts, in whispers, but it feels a certain way. Once we can tap in to feel what that feels like, then we need to lean into it and trust it and build a relationship with it and do what it asks us to do. And once you start to really lean into that, then for me, I can feel it. I know what it feels like compared to my beliefs, compared to my trapped feelings or reactions to things. It's very different. So it is a relationship building, and that's the best glimpse you get in the beginning, is that from the rear view mirror, that hindsight.
Yeah, let me give you an example of that. So have any of you were walking out, it's a perfectly sunny day, and you're like, I should take my umbrella. Out of left field, all of a sudden out of left field, I should take my umbrella. In the past, I would have been like, it's sunny out, that's crazy. No, I don't need it, and walk out. Now I hear I should take my umbrella. I'm like, okay. And I go get the umbrella, and don't you know, 15 minutes later, it's pouring and I need the umbrella. Or, or you're walking down someplace, you're going to go make a right, and there's something that tells you don't go down there. And you don't go down there, and you find out later bad things happen down there. So we really have to tap into those, what we talk about, whispers, nudges, those signs that say no. And that's why it's important to tap into your emotions, to be able to separate those emotions, to be able to identify what it means to you. So if something doesn't feel good to you, then don't do it. Don't do it. It's not in alignment with you. You're not meant to go there, and you are getting signs. And sometimes it's screaming signs, and we just ignore it and go, I wish I should have. That's where the should haves come in. And so if we can avoid should haves, that's a really good thing, right?
Yes. And you have to be quiet. You have to be silent, and you have to turn in. And the more that you and I'm in silent and can listen, the more clearly I can hear it. That's where the relationship building happens. And now it's more active in my life in the live moment, and I make decisions based on it. They're not hindsight. Sometimes I'll find myself not listening, and it'll remind me. I'm definitely not perfect, but in making purchasing decisions or what to say in a moment, I can turn in, get quiet, listen really quickly, and feel confident in how I'm going to respond versus reacting through life.
Yeah, absolutely. I call it the switch. We click a switch. And as soon as you learn how to access the switch, acknowledge it, and be able to turn it on and off at your desire, that makes it easier to apply it. And it changes the world. It used to be, 2.5 months of me getting upset about something. Now it's on a dime. I can turn it on a dime because I'm coming from a different perspective. And when you tap into that, that's the magic of healing, magic of life. And I know you speak of magic of healing in the last minute. What can our listeners and viewers do as soon as we stop this show? What's the first thing that they can take action to start taking those steps in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, come join our community. Come join me. I'm a teacher, so I teach people how to do this. I have a free healing circle every month, and I teach a class every month as well. And the community will have morning meditations, master classes, and practice, live action practice where we can lean in and do this work together.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being on. You can visit Tammy at towandawellbeing.com. All her information will be below, all her links. Follow her, go to her community, join her community, find out what it feels like and work with Tammy. You will not regret that. If it is ringing out to you, if it sounds like something you want to do, just take the action and do it. Don't question it. Just do it. Just do it. So I don't mean to sound like a Nike commercial, but just do it. But anyway, thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lori Anne. I hope we've earned the privilege of your time. I want to thank our guest again, Tammy Waldron. You are just a gift from heaven to us. Look for our show next Saturday at 3 p.m. on JVC Broadcasting and iHeartRadio. We can also be found on all major platforms and would be so grateful if you please like, follow, share, and subscribe. I also encourage you to join our Take Action community. There's a QR code and also a link below. And come join us and see what goes on there. There's lots of fun in there, and we have a lot of tools that you can tap into, as well as webinars and seminars that you can subscribe to. Until next time, I am Coach Lori Anne, America's #1 Take Action Success Coach and Strategist. Let your dreams be bigger than your fears. Let your life be filled with joy. Until next time, have a great week. See you next Saturday.